April marks National Stress Awareness Month, where healthcare professionals across the country join forces to increase public awareness, highlighting coping strategies and cures. We spoke with a clinical psychologist who shares techniques and coping methods to help deal with the pandemic stress.
What are some coping methods that you share with clients?
Some of the techniques that clients have found really helpful during the pandemic have included, for example, something like worry time, right? Because the pandemic has stirred up a lot of worries for people, even worries about like, how much longer will my parents be with us, or economic worries. And we can tend to get pinged with these types of worries just throughout the day, just randomly popping into our head. We don't want to get totally sidetracked every time a worry pops up, but we also don't want to shout down our concerns, because then they just go unconscious and they fester. So a happy medium way to deal with it in the sweet spot is what I call the worry time technique. So in worry time, what we do is we actually mark out a calendar time. It could be 15 minutes a day, it could be an hour a week, whatever works best for you. And then whenever you do have a worry pop into your mind throughout the day, you just deposit it into the event details of your worry time. And then that frees you to return and come to that calendar event at the right time and place when you can really give those concerns your full undivided attention. That frees you from feeling like you have to keep track of them all during the week, and it also stops you from maybe potentially forgetting about them. If you want to try to, prevent yourself from, say, getting overcome with stress, for many of us, we've had the experience of just feeling totally overwhelmed with stress, and then having had that experience, we can actually get stressed and worried and afraid that we'll have it happen to us again. And so one of the things that can be helpful for that is a technique called anchoring statements. So in anchoring statements, what we do is we have a pre-crafted set of statements that we know is going to ground us and keep us focused in reality instead of spinning out into some kind of a overblown anxiety narrative. So for example, some people find themselves suddenly feeling almost paranoid about getting COVID. Now, I know that we all want to be careful. We want to practice the proper guidelines. But once you're doing all of that, some people still just get suddenly flooded with fears about getting COVID. And so what someone in that situation could do is the anchoring statement of something like, I'm healthy, I'm strong, and I will get medical attention if I need it. And just repeating that over to themselves does a couple of really good things for your brain. First of all, it reassures you that you're safe. Secondly, it interrupts that negative internal monologue that was busy spinning out a whole, frightening narrative about all these fears. You actually overwrite that with something that's grounded and truthful.
What are some of the long-term impacts of this pandemic on our mental health?
Well, one of the long-term impacts on our mental health, I think, on the positive side, is that we've all learned some new coping strategies. We've learned how to connect with each other more deeply, even if we can't necessarily be in the same room. I think it's really highlighted for people the importance of personal resilience as well as relationships. And so being able to build those relationships and strengthen ourselves, I hope, will be our long-term impact.
Those are some great tips. Dr. Chloe, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Avni.
That was Dr. Chloe Carmichael, clinical psychologist.